Is melon a fruit or is a vegetable? Melon is one thing that a lot of people love using to cook their meals. In the eastern and southern parts of Nigeria, melon is not underrated. A lot of people love using melon to cook their meals. There is what we call Egusi soup in the east, and over here we have what we call ikman, which is melon cake. We use melon to prepare a cake, which is in the general term is called African cake. This African cake is often presented as traditional marriages, coronation. A lot of people present melon cake as snacks, as appetizer to their visitors, especially during the festive season. Hello guys, my name is Ndifreke. If you are new to this channel, you are welcome. I'm a mother of three, a civil servant, a wife, living here in the city of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. If you are new to this channel, you are welcome. Please remember to like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Today, I'll be taking you to my mother's kitchen where she prepares melon cake, also known as African cake. She uses melon to produce cake that is being presented at traditional marriages, coronation, and some people also demand for her to prepare it for their own family. Melon cake is one thing that in the Anang tribe of Akwa Ibom is really cherished. When I was a little child, during the festive season, I see my grandmom preparing this melon cake, which you could see here. She prepares this melon cake and presents it to the in-laws, to the son-in-laws, and to the extended in-laws. And as they're thanking her, they are giving her, returning it with a gift in monetary form. So African cake as a very special snack that is presented to in-laws, family, and friends. My mom took in this profession at a very young age. She started presenting it at traditional marriages, coronation, and every other traditional event. During the festive season, I decided to visit her and I was fortunate that she made the African cake during that time. And I decided to bring it to my subscribers to see how African cake is being prepared from the beginning. Melon has so many benefits. It's rich in oil, healthy oil. It's high in dietary fiber. It has a lot of vitamins and its both immune system is good for the heart. So I believe that's why a lot of people love eating African cake. So guys, let's go into the kitchen and see how my mom prepares African cake from the comfort of her kitchen. This is how we prepare African cake. Inside the mortar, we have blended melon, blended dried melon. And she just added a white substance at the beginning of this video. That white substance is what I'm showing you now. It's called ifio. It's a binding agent. The next thing she added was the dry pepper, dry blended pepper. So she added to the blended melon and the ifio. The next thing is salt. All these things, she's going to mix it together, pound it, and it will give us what we want.
She added more pepper to the blended melon. The next thing she did is to select the crayfish. You know, when you buy crayfish in the market, sometimes it's not well selected. You need to take your time, select the dirt, because we have a lot of dirt in crayfish. So she is selecting the dirt from the crayfish so that the crayfish will be neat, so that when you are eating the African cake, you won't have a taste of maybe feel of sand or something like that. So she did that, and she will mix it all together, and she will start pounding it. She's done with the mixing, and before then you need to boil hot water that you will use to pound the melon. So she has added the hot water to the mixture, and she will start pounding it just like the way you do your cake when you are doing your normal sugary cake that we eat. So this is African cake. We are not using sugar or whatsoever. We are using ingredients from our kitchen. So she is going to do this for, like, let's say 1 or 2 hours, because you need to have a good mix of what you are doing. The water that is added to this blended melon, it will help it extract the melon oil. Most people don't know that melon has its oil. Melon has its oil. So when you are doing African cake, the hot water will help extract the melon oil. Melon oil is very good. Since we've been doing it in our house, we have melon oil often, and I can use it to do anything I want, like frying plantain, using it to cook. I use it as a normal groundnut oil. At this point, my mom is using a spoon to mix it, because with this spoon it will help you get the mixture right, because even the pestle will not really help, but with the spoon it will help you scrape out the melon, and it will help you have a good mix. She is pounding it. So as you are pounding it, you will get to see that the melon will be mixing, and it will look like something that is binded, because it has a good mix. Even when you taste it, you would feel all the ingredients of what you've added to this melon. We could see during the process of the pounding that the oil from the melon had started coming out, whereby making the melon to look shiny, which is what we really want. So now you could see that all the ingredients are incorporated. At this point, it was now my turn to do the pounding. Pounding melon for African cake is something that I've been doing. Almost everybody in my house knows how to do it, because we've been doing it over the years. We've been helping my grandma and even my mom. So everybody in my house knows how to pound it from the beginning. Oh, for you to have a good mix, you need to take your time, pound it well, just like when you are doing your normal icing or your normal icing cake. You need to take your time to mix it so that all your ingredients will incorporate. So that's the same thing we are doing here, Though ours is the local way where we use the mortar and the pestle to do it, but in your own case, maybe you are using a mixing machine to do it, but this our own. We our machine, the pounder and the mortar and the pestle is our mixing machine. At this point, she transferred the already pounded melon into a tray, and you could see she's trying to create something out of the melon that has been pounded. A particular local government during the festive season requested that she create future assured for them for their cultural festival. My mom is trying to create the alphabet that will give us future assured. You could see from the video that she has already created the F, U, T is what she's trying to create. I told you she's a professional in this. She's been doing this over the years and she knows how to do it. You might ask, won't it break inside the pot? No. Even when it breaks, she has a way of doing it. She has a way of putting it together and you won't see any fault in it because she is so good at what she does. You could see that the FUTU for the future has already been mapped out. The people requested for future assured, and we will see at the end of this video that she got what she wanted, and the people were so impressed with the with what she created out for them. I've seen in situations where my mother has been able to figure out what to do for our customers, and she's been doing this over the years. You know, people that make the sugary cake, some of them they have what they use in crafting out these images and the alphabet, but in African cake we don't have all those things, those machines you use to craft out the alphabet. But this one, you have to use your own initiative to get what you want. She is done with molding the alphabet that will give us what we want. She was done at this point and all is well arranged. So the next thing we will do is to put it in the pot. This leaf you are seeing here is called asaka leaf. Since my mom is someone that does this African cake often, instead of her to be going to the bush every time to look for this asaka leaf, she had to bring it to the house, as in she cut it and brought it to the house. So this is the dry form of the asaka leaf. I don't know what this asaka leaf is called in English, but that is the name that it is called in our dialect, asaka leaf. This our asaka leaf will help brown the melon, the African cake. It will give it that brownish look that you will see at the end of this video. So that is one of the benefits of this asaka leaf. Though it will form as a base for the African cake in the pot, but it helps to brown the melon, the African cake. So it's time for us to put our melon, our African cake, inside the pot. So you could see my mom, she's converting the melon cake into the pot. She's handling the molded melon carefully and tenderly so that it won't break. She added it to the pot, and it, very soon we will start cooking it. Our pot is on fire. The next thing we added was boiled hot water. The water is really hot. You don't need to add cold water or warm water to your African cake, because the cold water might make the molded cake to break, but the hot water will do justice to it. So we added hot water to the pot. The next thing she did was to cover the pot. We are going to cook this African cake for 24 hours. It will give it a good cook. Because you don't want it to be half done, that's why we are cooking it for 24 hours. You know it's molded, so you need it to cook very well so that when your customer is eating it, she or he can give you kudos. We cooked it for 24 hours. The only thing you need to do is to keep topping up the water. You won't allow the water to get to the best. Just keep topping water, and the cake, before you know it, 24 hours is here and it's done. So at this point, our cake was done. You could see that the water is not much, and we brought it down. The next thing is to dry your already cooked African cake. So this is our local dryer. The next thing she's going to do is to filter the water out so that she will be able to remove the African cake. You know, the water is really hot, so we need to filter the water out. Then we add a little cold water. At this point, even when you add cold water, it's not going to break it because it's already cooked. So you add cold water and you start bringing out the African cake and you put it on the dry. She uses this big charcoal to dry it, just to put the charcoal in the fire. Then you start putting your African cake on the dryer. So this is the dryer, the local dryer we use to dry the melon, and you could see she's already putting it on the dryer. So guys, this is the result of what I showed you. The future assured is ready. You could see it. Thank you guys for staying with me to watch this video of how we make our African cake. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share the video and leave a comment. Thank you so much. I will see you in my next video. Bye.